Oh, hello. So let's see. I've been working on the app, and I'm very, very excited about this. I'm not sure how much time I have. So, and I also found a bug in Bonsify that we need to fix, but I don't want to dive into that now. It's something I can play with. So the overview of the app now is that we have like a components folder, we have an environments folder, we have a state folder, and we have a utils folder. Now, oh, Apple Music. So the point is that in environments, you would typically export like the interface for what the app needs from its environment, right? And then you would implement that interface for different environments. I only have the browser environment, so I've only implemented that, but this is like generally a good structure, I think. And I've tried to do this a few times before. I even created this package called like React Environment Interface or something that was all about like pulling out all the environment specific things from your React components and pull them into an actual interface. So you increase testability, you clean up a shit ton of code, you make it much more clear what the app is actually doing, because you're not pointing to these like environment specific things. And the typing becomes also much better because the typing is in the environment interface, and you can decide the perfect typing and interface for your app, regardless of what environment it's running in. Anyways, so I just have this browser environment, and as you can see, I'm like uppercasing these things because I'm using the constructor pattern. So we are like creating an actual browser environment here. I'm just composing a few different APIs for the camera, authentication, and persistence. So that's the environment. And then we have state, and this is really, really coming along now. So in the index file of state, I'm actually, yeah, just 2 seconds. I had some uppercasing changes, like Git isn't, and TypeScript, like nothing's really good at handling the change of uppercase in the first character of a file name. So, but in the index file, I'm just exporting all the types from state. So whenever I'm consuming types from my state management, I kind of, in my components, I just import everything as state. And then I have like a very explicit, this type is coming from the state kind of thing. I can show it to you. Oh, look at this. So this is also, should be uppercase. This should be uppercase. Oh, and this should be up. Oh, look at this. I was working on my other computer, so it doesn't pick up these changes. Anyways, oh, and then the TypeScript server doesn't pick it up, so I have to restart it again. Oh, it's silly. Anyways, but now it's like, it's getting really, really exactly how I want this to be. So everything here starts with a session. So I'm using a state machine for the session. And it basically, yeah, let's change this to type params. Params. I'm just gonna follow the conventions to, or that suggested patterns to the point, to the letter, because this is gonna be a reference project for all the Bonsify patterns. Yeah, let's see. Cached authentication. I'm just gonna clean things up. Cached authentication. Cool. So I have this state machine that brings up some cached authentication, which is just, it's just IDs. It's because Firebase has a little bit latency on the initial authentication, but I just wanna run the app as fast as possible to not have any like pending indication there. And then what I'm doing now, I'm using the new Bonsify read-only. So what I'm noticing doing this, I wish I actually had streamed the refactor more. But what I'm noticing is that for every like piece of state, I'm just using reactive. And when I return, I do read-only. because the whole point is that what's inside session should be able to change its internals, right? But nothing should be able to change the internals of session in this case, other than using the actual functions, right? And that's handled by just returning read only. And now I can still call sign in and stuff, but I'm not allowed to actually change anything. And you'll get a runtime error trying to do that. So this is the session, and then we have family scrum, which is basically now just bringing in the authenticated session. It has groceries, to-dos, dinners, weeks, and it also exposes this awake, which is an environment API that's used to like keep the app awake, like the screen doesn't like fade out. So I'm exposing that at the top there. And then as we're firing this up, I'm creating the family persistence based on the family ID. And then this one's just building up the state for that, where all of these like nested states, they actually receive the family scrum as a dependency. So that's why I'm using getters here. So I'm using the injection pattern, which allows me to use a getter to like lazily return, for example, groceries here. So now groceries can actually pass in family scrum. And then I'm using another pattern here, which isn't documented yet, which is the disposer pattern. So inside session here, we're actually going to change this a little bit. So this is going to be, this is rather going to be a new set of just functions. So basically at some level where you want to dispose of nested states. So in this application, I want to dispose of all subscriptions to data if I'm losing my session state, right? So if I'm authenticated, I'm subscribing to a bunch of data. If I get unauthenticated for whatever reason, I want to dispose of all those subscriptions. Maybe I don't really have to, but it's like, it's something you should at least reflect on and be very conscious about how you want to deal with that. So I just create this disposers thing, and then we're just going to add, and then we're going to say disposers clear. And then what I do is when we're authenticated and I'm creating family scrum, I'm just sending in this onDispose callback. And this onDispose callback just collects disposers, right? And whenever I get unauthenticated, where's that? Sorry. Whenever the auth changes, and if I don't have a user and the current state is that I'm authenticated, it means that I'm about to become unauthenticated. So you know what? Actually, I would rather prefer... Yeah, so I would prefer this to be more explicit. So I would rather want to have this here, actually. So whenever we move into unauthenticated, we go through the disposers and we dispose of them. And then we clear the disposer. So the next time you sign in, you're ready to roll with new subscriptions, right? So that's the disposer pattern. Then I just pass this onDispose down to whatever state that's doing like subscriptions or whatever. And if we go back to family scrum, we can go into one of them, groceries, for example. And this is where it starts to get really, really nice. Because now, one thing I didn't mention is that now I'm naming it groceries. It's uppercase G, because it's a constructed pattern. I'm creating something as if it was a class. So I'm exporting, of course, the function as groceries, but I'm also exporting the type as groceries. And TypeScript actually puts these two together. So you can actually import groceries and use it both as a type and as a function, which is really cool. And in groceries, I'm going to put this at the top. because this kind of indicates that I'm just creating a back reference back up to family scrum. So as you can see later in the groceries component, I'm able to like point back up to family scrum. So I don't have to pass family scrum down to groceries and then grab groceries from there. I can actually pass down groceries, and then rather groceries can point back up to family scrum because it needs something from family scrum. And then we just have an array of groceries. I can add grocery and I can filter groceries. And what we can see here is that I'm creating this reactive state of groceries. I'm setting up a subscription for updates to the groceries. And whenever I get some new data, I map over it to create an actual grocery. Right, so I have grocery DTO, which is the data of a grocery, and then I have my grocery constructor, which is an actual grocery using that data. And then again, I'm just returning groceries as read-only because the only way you can interact with this from the outside is to use add grocery or filter or any other like nested functions. So all of this is like super clean. And then when I jump to a grocery, it gets really interesting because what I also notice now is that when you have data, you want to interact with that data, right? So you want to extend the data type into something that lets you interact with that data. And typically, well, always, you don't just want to interact and change the data itself. You want to do server mutations and stuff, right? And you want to protect the actual data so that you don't go in from components and just change data properties, right? So I'm going to write something about this pattern as well, which is maybe more tied to typing, where I'm exporting, again, it's like a grocery constructor. I export it as type grocery, but now I just say this is a grocery DTO, and then I extend it with functionality. So you can shop a grocery. And these are the params. And what we can see here is that I'm getting the data. I'm just spreading the data into my reactive grocery, and then I can like shop it. Now, what's interesting here is that technically this doesn't have to be reactive, because every time a grocery updates, I'll get like a new data entity in here because it's revalidating the data. But what we're going to do after I'm done with this initial refactor is we're going to start, instead of subscribing to all, we're going to subscribe to specific changes to optimize rendering. So that's going to be interesting. But regardless, it might as well be reactive. I return a read-only version of it. And if I try to shop it, this is what it does. This can actually be in grocery ID. Cool. And it's the same for the rest. So dinners follows the pattern. I have a dinner, which is actually just dinner DTO because you can't really do anything about the dinner at the moment. You should be able to remove it, but I don't think I have that in the UI. But yeah, it's literally the same stuff. Subscribing to the data. So this is what I learned is like, I was having this challenge between what's the data and what's the view and what's the interaction. So often you do like, okay, I have my data over here. I have my persistence manipulation over here. And then I have my components explicitly interacting with data persistence functionality. And then I get my data over here kind of thing. Sorry, that was a bad explanation. But what I can quite figure out is like, how do you want to organize that in your state? And what I noticed with this is that I used to have a data state here that would just expose all the different kinds of data and subscribing to everything and so on. So I would just have my data over here, and then I would kind of like try to put groceries in there, and then I would say, okay, you can shop a grocery and so on. But that that didn't make any sense. It just felt, how should I put it? It added like another layer of abstraction that felt weird. So when I changed that and didn't have like this generic data thing, I'm just thinking, okay, I have some groceries. And this is not about the groceries view in the app. This is just, I have some groceries. And I go and grab the initial data. I keep it in sync. I'm defining how I can interact with that data as its own domain. Then it just started making a lot more sense. I kind of removed a layer of abstraction and made it way more specific. So super happy about that. And then we have like to-dos following the same pattern. Creating a to-do. A to-do is relatively complex. So I have my own constructor for a to-do where I'm extending it so that a to-do DTO actually can have a checklist of checklist items, not just checklist item DTOs. And you can archive a to-do and you can add a checklist item to a to-do. Like, I love this type. Like, it literally explains to you that you have this data with this behavior, or with these points of interaction. And then I build up that to-do. I have like the functionality here. It's very simple stuff. But then a to-do can have a checklist item. So I also have a checklist item. And again, I'm just extending the checklist item DTO. You can remove a checklist item and you can toggle a checklist item. And again, I'm building it up exactly the same, returning read-only, setting up how to remove it, and toggle is actually quite complex because it's not like unique identities, it's an array on a to-do. But what I also really like about this is that looking into state, it's like, these are all the things. Like this is the like the atoms of my app, kind of, regardless of what UI I'm implementing. This is what it is. Which I really love. So when it comes to the components, I have, let's see, I have my, well, we can look into the main file first. So in my main file, I'm creating the browser environment. And this is where I would, of course, create a different environment if I had like a native version of the app, or I wanted to run a test environment or whatever. And then I set up my session. And the reason I chose to make like export everything from an index file in state is that, first of all, now I can just call it state. So it's explicit that this is state, right? So if I call this session, for example, you wouldn't get that hint that there are multiple things in here. It's not only session, it's other things as well. So this is basically all the state. And then so there is a risk of collision here because I have like this session entity. Morning, Adam. I'm bragging about how insanely good this is starting to look. But yeah, so I'm importing all from state so that I'm explicitly pointing to state, because what happens is that when you have these state concepts of session and groceries and things like that, you typically have something related in your UI, right? So if you have a session entity in your state, you probably have a session component, but that's a crashing name, right? So I would have to choose to like name these differently or something, but I don't like that. I like better to just be explicit about, okay, I'm importing from state here, and we're passing in the session. And I'm also using React Router now. So if we move into the component here, you again see I'm just importing everything from state so that it's explicit that it's the state session. And then it's just doing its thing where it's firing up family scrum. And in family scrum, I have routes for the dashboard and for groceries where you can see how I pass in the nested state. And then looking into groceries, we can see I'm passing in state groceries here. And I have my awake feature, and I'm using like local input state because I'm not dictating that the filter should be tied to an input, right? That thing could come from anywhere. That's a UI decision where that filter comes from. So this is the input, and then we filter out the groceries based on that input. And then it's basically the old component. So I can't remember. Did I use a yarn? Yeah, yarn dev. Let's see, localhost. So here we have it, and I can go to shopping, and here it is, my groceries list. Maybe I can add something. We actually need, I haven't actually tested it. Let's see if it works. What's it called? So this is like soap for, oh, look at that. It's actually working. Nämen! Vad är det för något? Ja. Där. Slo han deg? Nei. Hva var det som skjedde da? Men det vi sa ifra til Eskil at ikke det var greit. Ja. Og du, Eskil mener ikke å være slem med deg, ikke sant? Du må huske, prøve å tenke at dere er 4 år, og noen ganger så er det litt vanskeligere å styre hva man gjør. Ikke sant? Eskil mener ikke å være slem. Jeg tror Eskil sitter og tenker nå på at det var dumt, jeg ville ikke slå Oskar. Jeg ville jo bare leke med Oskar, tenker Eskil. Nå skjønner du blir lei deg. Du kan gjøre det etterpå, Oskar. Mamma skal en tur ut etterpå. Hæ? Nei, vi kan game med mamma drar. Jo. Hæ? Nei, det er ikke så lenge til. Det er ikke så lenge til. Vi er med å game litt med deg, da. Bare 20 minutter. Eller kvarter, eller...
Hva skjer hvis jeg sier nei?
Hva skjer da hos deg? Det er ikke så lenge det da. Vil du spille Wobbly Life, eller skal jeg? Spille litt Wobbly Life?
Bra.
Det er ikke lenge igjen da. Det kommer snart.
Ja. Kan du hente meg til kopter?
Nå må vi ha et familieråd om det å ta av seg skoen. For det er så mye kattebæsj ut der. Nå ble det kjempemye. Jeg holder på å vaske hele tiden. Så vi må ta av skoen ut på trappa eller rett innenfor døra. Okay.
Yeah, it was a neighbor kid, like they're 4 years old, and they like impulse control, and the neighbor kid hit him in his face, which is actually, I'm a little bit relieved because it's typically our son that does the hitting. Well, not typically. He's actually like a super pleasant kid. There's like no episodes in like kindergarten and stuff. So, but yeah, they've been neighbors since birth, and there's been phases, to put it like that. Anyways, so that's it. And if I, yeah, and the filter is working and everything. That's nice. Cool. So what I thought we could do, well, we don't have time to look at the bug. So the bug is actually it's wrapping too many proxies. So I have a proxy of, this would be the session, and there's a proxy, there's a proxy, there's a proxy, there's a proxy, there's a proxy. Oh, sorry, that was family scrum. So there's like a bunch of proxies. And then for the session, there's a proxy. Oh, that's actually just one proxy. That's interesting. And then, yeah, that only has a single proxy. So I'm a little bit curious why. Yeah, so we have to figure that out, why there's so many proxies. But maybe we could look at the checklist. So yeah, I think we have time to. Yeah, it's a bit too many proxies. Like there should be one proxy per state branch, right? Hey, look at that. Someone liked my observing components. Awesome. What is a family scrum? So let's see if we can get this checklist thing in. Typisk. Be right back. Right. Let's grab this code and let's create. Yeah, I'm not sure about how I'm doing like this menu card skeleton. I'm not sure if I actually need all these folders. I'm not sure. Like, yeah, people do it differently. Like if there are multiple related components, you make it a folder. But this is just a single component. Yeah, let's move it out. Let's see. Session, and then we have family scrum, rename. Boop. Session can be 2, dashboard can be common. Yeah, we need to, I want to introduce the AI thing again. Anyways, so we have new file checklists. So we don't use that. This is like React 24 solid. I think that's what I'm doing now. So this is export function checklists. Not doing views here. So type props would be checklists. Well, actually this will be to-dos. So state. I guess this is the only thing I don't like about, state.todos. Wait, did I call it? Yeah, it's just checklist item. Cool. Yes, we're getting to-dos. That's what it's based on. So to-dos, props, and then to-dos with checklist. To-dos, so yeah, and that's the only thing I like. Boolean. And then to-do is, what is it? State.todo and you know what? We should have function for that. Yeah, let's put it in the state thing. Where is it? To-dos. We're gonna have to-dos with checklist. So that would be, we're gonna export. So we have to-do. Well, I guess we can, let's see. Oh, where did I go? Sorry, to-dos. Maybe we can have it here. To-do with checklist. To-do and checklist is checklist item. The thing now is that I think I need to omit checklist and then we bring it back. Because now it's actually there, right? And then what we can do here is to get to-dos with checklist. Oops. Oh. No, we don't need to do this. We're gonna filter. That's weird. To do is to do with checklist, and then we're just gonna do a boolean to do dot checklist, and not fiddler but filter, and then this is going to do with checklist. There we go. So now we can say to do's with checklist. Well, I guess we don't need to. So this button here is const navigation, use navigate. Oh, navigate. This will be navigate -1. Oh, not 1, but -1. And then to do's with checklist. Yeah, and then we have this to do item. And I think we can just create a to do here. Let's see. I think there's like a, how did I do this? Common components. Look at this. Oh, checklist to do item. Yeah, whatever. Let's just go through this. So we have to do. Oh, interesting. It takes children. Oh, we need. Oh, okay. We need checklist. And we need confirmed. Yeah, maybe we should create a folder out of that. So let's do to do. Rename to index. New file confirm tsx. And then we have checklist. And add checklist item. Oh my god. Ugh. We don't use translations. Okay, this is, I'm not sure if I have time to actually make all this work. And checklist item. React 24 solid. Okay, let's just start here. So this will be props. Hei. Er du også lei deg? Var du lei deg for det, Emma? Okay. Let's see. So this would be title. Streamer, sure. And okay, cool. That's a simple one. And then we have the checklist. Add checklist item, add checklist. So this would be props. So this should be, I think we have checklist item. So on change, this would be item dot toggle. And then this is remove item dot. Look at this. This is beautiful. And we can even do like, and because we're not using classes, Adam, we can just do this. Isn't that beautiful? Because you don't have the binding issue. Oh yeah, so this is the actual checklist. Okay.
Ja. Er nede. Ja.
This is the checklist.
Jeg vet.
Yeah, whatever. Let's see. So add checklist item. That would be checklist. Oh, that's the actual checklist. Yeah, you know what? This is interesting. We want to pass in the to do here. So this would be state to do with checklist. And to do the checklist, because now it's actually there. And now we say to do dot add checklist item. Oh, look at this. Look at this, Adam. Add, I guess. Oh, add checklist. Add item. Add item. Cool. So that's the checklist, and then React solid. That's 24. Is there a clipboard? Oh, clipboard. Oh, there's no clipboard check. Oh, document check icon. Okay. Archive. Oh, wait. Oh, what happened? Archive box icon. Let's remove this. And let's see. So this needs to be the actual to-do state. Yeah, I wish there was a way to better import. I'm not bothered by this, but I don't think it's super discoverable. So this will be a to-do. I really love how all the types are so precise now. And there's no like DTOs there. You notice that? From a component consumption perspective, there isn't any data. It's just like pure data. There's no transfer objects. It's just actual things you can interact with, which is exactly what the UI is supposed to be. And then we have the to do, and there's no stuff like that. So this would be to do dot archive. Yeah, and we can even like do. Look at this. This is beautiful. Yeah, so this is a UI effect I have here. Oh, get day name. Yeah, I think this, we can just drop that thing. And then, oh shit. Format the to date. How do I format? I'm gonna ask the AI. Numeric to local. Yeah, whatever, something like that. And then this would be, yeah, this is gonna move us to, let's see, what is this? This is the description. Okay, so we need to make that a link. Oh, sorry. This will be link to, well, I guess to-dos. From React Router, and then we have archive box icon. We have clipboard document check. Hæ? Ja, jeg kommer 2 seconds. Hæ?
Nej, bittersam.
Gick det bra i stad? Bra, den kommer snart. Vant det? Alright. This is actually quite nice. Youngest is playing Rocket League in the room next to me, and the oldest is in like the guest bed next to me, and I'm here streaming. Imagine that this day would ever arrive. So oh yeah, so we were passing the to-do here, right? No. What was checklist taking? Oh, interesting. I'm saying to do, if we have a to-do checklist here, why doesn't this type work? Yeah, the dream and living it, yeah. How's your weekend going, Adam? I find it weird that why this. So here I have a checklist, but here I don't have it. Is it because of this conditional? No. I find this weird. Why does it say that? Jeg sier på streamen jeg lever drømmen her med yngstemann i naborommet, gamer og
Det er sånn eventyr ute.
ja.
Prinsesse som sitter sånn.
Nej,
Jeg tuller bare, altså.
Let's see.
ikke tull sånn.
Ok, unnskyld.
Oh, is it because it's still... I find this weird. Oh, sorry, it should be like this. But anyways, I find this weird. Type undefined. It's not assigned, but type checklist item. But it's not undefined. Oh. Oh, it's gonna work with no internet. Yeah, that can be horrible. I remember like the initial version of Code Sandbox version 2, we used just a Monaco editor and we built a very custom experience. I kind of missed that editor, but we felt forced to bring in the whole VS Code. But that's even that's even worse. But yeah, we've had a lot of challenges with that. But I'm frustrated with this type. Is it because it's like you can see that it's like maybe there, but that's not true because we're making this check. I'm very curious about this typing. It doesn't make sense to me. Oh, here we have another. Shouldn't be like that. Should be like this. Why isn't it understanding that? But this shouldn't be like this either. Maybe I should change this so that we always have a checklist. It's just it's an empty array. And then we only show. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. I'm gonna change that. So to do, that's fine. It's gonna look like this, but the actual to do, we're gonna omit checklist. And then we're gonna say it's definitely gonna have a checklist. And then we're just gonna change this. I'm not sure if I actually need, do I need this type? Yeah, I need a type. And then we have a checklist. Oh yeah, sorry. Or empty array. Okay, so we're always gonna have a checklist now. And the only thing I need to do is, where was the thing? To-dos with checklist would be dot length instead. Oh yeah, now we don't need this to do with checklist anymore. Yeah, we don't need this thing. We just need to check the length. Cool. Do I need it here? Yeah. Okay, so getters always needs to be explicitly typed. Yeah, it's because I'm pointing back to the to-dos. Maybe they're able to fix that at some point. But anyways, so now we have so this should be to do. Cool. What's he complaining about now? Oh, checklists. And in the checklist, we're gonna have, well, we're just gonna have the to do. That's fine. And here now, we're gonna, yeah. Well, I guess we don't really care about it here now. Do we? Because this is, yeah, I'm gonna check. Maybe we don't, I can't remember the exact UI here. But let's remove it and then see how it feels like. Cool. Okay, let's see how this looks. Oh, we need to load up checklists. So that would be checklists. Checklists. And this will be to-dos, family scrum to-dos. And then in our dashboard, this is going to, let's see, let's move it a little bit. It's going to groceries, and this is going to checklists. Yeah, let's fix the length. So this would be family scrum to-dos with checklist. Look at that. Hey, there it is. Nice. Cool. It's working. Ah, doesn't it look beautiful? Okay, cool. You know what? Let's just continue. This is too good to be true. Like actually sitting here streaming alone with the kids. So what are we gonna do? I really want to figure out that Bonsify issue, but at the same time, okay, let's do it. Let's see if we can figure it out. So we're just gonna simplify the app. Like we're not even gonna run it. We're just gonna explore a little bit. So state reactive. Oh, blah. Så foobar. Console. Ja, Oskar? Ja, jeg kommer straks. Skal du si meg en ting? 2 seconds. Ja, jeg skal bare fikse en liten ting, så kommer jeg. Okay? Oh. He wants me to play Rocket League with him. Okay, so this one's fine, right? But what did we experience? We experienced something like if we make a blah like this, and then we'll return a read only. So this is what I was working on last time. I have a feeling we're gonna see it already here. Yeah, you see that? We get to, but this is the thing I actually fixed. So maybe I made a mistake, but I think we can easily write a test for this as well. Well, maybe I did a mistake. Of course I made a mistake. So what we're doing is, if already a proxy, I have a feeling it's this check. Because there's a different trap for doing that check. So I think we should just do... Or maybe we can do... Can do this? Yeah. If I just do that... You have too much confidence in me. Okay, so I think this check has a different proxy trap. It doesn't hit the getter in the proxy trap, so it doesn't return true. But this will. I'm just gonna ask the AI. When doing some key in some object, which proxy trap does that hit? Because you have many different proxy traps. Get and set is basically property access, right? But this isn't property access. This is the has trap, exactly. So we're gonna do this instead. This is very likely the fix. So we're just gonna ship it. I could implement a has trap as well, but okay, so I'm just gonna publish it first, and then we're gonna test it. Let's see, I need my phone. Okay, oh my god. There we go. 032. Let's see now. Did it update? No, it's still the same. just to be 100% sure. Oh, it's double proxy. That's weird. Okay. Can I just run this somehow? Let's see. If we do like it should unwrap proxies. Only expect true to be false. And then we're gonna put in the same thing here and see if I'm not sure how well it is able to. Yeah, because this doesn't actually show the proxies. How are we gonna test this? Can I just go in here, test EMS index.js? We can try to fix it from here. Let's see, create proxy. What? Well, let's do this first, just to see if it runs. Do I just have to start it again, or I can't quite remember. Do I have to delete it? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, it's because I'm importing. Let's do this. Okay, there we go. So it definitely hits that thing. And then, oh, that sounded hit that thing. But yeah, that's kind of annoying. I have to like delete Vite every time. But it never hits that. Okay, so this is very interesting. So why doesn't it hit that? If key equals proxy target. So this should be create proxy. So what are we doing? We're so what's happening here is that, oh, wait a minute, what's actually happening? So we are accessing read-only, and read-only is, oh, wait a minute. Okay, what actually happens when I do read-only? Okay, so we do create proxy. Yeah, but here it should, okay. Creating proxy of target. Yeah, so here it creates a proxy for reactive. Wait, state? Oh, let's comment out this one as well. Oh, sorry, not browser environment, I mean. There we go. So it creates the reactive, and then it's creating the read-only proxy, and it gets a proxy, but it doesn't run this one. Why isn't this? Create object proxy. Getting find this very curious. Wait a minute. It doesn't even run the getter. Hear that? Just 2 seconds. He got a new item in Rocket League. Okay, I'm very confused by this. So here we are creating a proxy of a proxy. But for some reason, when I do target... Oh, of course. It's because we do proxy in target and it's not there, of course. So this probably fixes it, yeah. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do the has implementation instead. Just for the sake of... there you go. Proxy. Nice. Okay, that was the issue. So I was right about the issue. I just had the wrong fix. So we can do this, and then we have get proxy target. We have has. Yeah, we should probably actually have this. Well, yeah, no, that's target key. And then we'll do the same if, then we're gonna return true. Create array proxy. Oh, what's that? There we go. Git status package JSON 3 git add git commit fix nested proxies, and then we'll do another publish. I need my phone. Um, 291.380. Nice. Wait. There's something. Oh, didn't I... That's funny. We put it there instead. Okay, let's try again. Okay. Actually focus on the 429.293. Yeah, weird. Okay. There we go. And now we're gonna do okay, I'm just gonna delete v just to be sure. Boop. We're gonna bring back all the things. Nice. It is interesting though how many times it so this should be correct. No, wait, what's happening here? What? Didn't it fix it? Wait. I didn't. Oh, fuck. I forgot to build it. Yarn build. Right? Yeah. There's a pre-publish thing. But I do have it. I don't understand. It doesn't seem to be running. I don't know why it doesn't do that. It's weird. Okay, let's try again. Very annoying. Should have seen me. Like, I have a funny story about Semware. I thought for some reason that the last, like if I had version 0.1.0, I don't know where my head was at, but I thought I could go through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but then I had to bump it because I was like at the end, like I couldn't do 11, 12, 13, 14. Like, that's so weird. But that, it says a lot about my brain. I have these like convictions, I think, that's like bonkers sometimes. But I think it's kind of just a side effect of like having a lot of ideas. Let's see. There we go. Now it's fine. And these should be proxies. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Okay, so now we have that. So now we can go to the one of the bigger ones. But yeah, it's actually, it's rendering quite a bit, and it's because it's like it's loading the data asynchronously. It's very interesting because like, yeah, it's just interesting. But now I feel like I can control better. The rendering, because now components are isolated and I decide when they're gonna render. Yeah, and here it's also duplicate because I'm running strict mode, of course, so that doesn't help. Anyways, so we can remove that log. And what we should do now is look at the plan next week. Though I have a feeling I'm at the end of the line here with the kids. So plan next week. Well, maybe we could do edit to do. Yeah, we should do edit to do first. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna push this. So if you're interested in looking at the code, it's on the Bonsify branch of Family Scrum v2. But we're just gonna continue fixing things, and then yeah, it shouldn't take long now. Maybe by the end of the weekend we actually have a running app again, and we can use that as a reference app. And then I'm really gonna start like I'm exceptionally happy about this. So I'm gonna start making these tiny videos explaining each pattern. The thing I'm kind of seeing is that with the documentation, like Bonsify is like designed for these patterns. It's very interesting, actually. Like there are these great fundamental patterns, and then you have like Bonsify designed to make them as explicit as possible. So I'm kind of, so you can like use any of these with the patterns, but like the way you, but I think that's going to be a great learning experience. I want those. So what I mean to say is that I'm going to take each of the patterns and I'm going to show how they look with the different reactive primitives. So the same here, like, okay, this is the pattern. How does it look with the different reactive primitives? And then in that context, I can explain like this is why Bonsify, the library, works the way it works, because it just makes that pattern as precise without like a lot of fluff. Yeah, and then we're gonna write a new disposer, new disposing pattern, and there was another pattern. Oh yeah, it was with the types and stuff. Yeah. I'm just gonna shove that in here somewhere. Oh. Forgot to build again. Let me see. I'm just gonna write it down here. Somewhere. No, I'll remember it. Yeah. So it's like the pattern of like extending data with functionality and typing and everything. Cool. But yeah, would love for you to read through some of the code, Adam. It would be like, I have one more item on my bucket list. The first one was to make you use the automatic observation, but the other is to drop classes and start using these patterns. If I could get you to do that, then I've lived a full life. But have a great weekend and we'll talk more. Bye bye.